So France is. I gotta say I might be pro France now, which some people called me a pedophile for it on Twitter. I won't name any names because they
So dumb. Yeah, whole country's fucking pedo. Come on, dude.
and maybe
Yeah,
they
it's
are.
like,
Here's the thing. I like
yeah,
here's the thing. Maybe they
yeah.
are, but
Do you think really any more than Americans? Honestly,
well, we have a
yeah,
classist pedophilic system. Like you're allowed to, if you're rich, you can molest.
yeah, exactly. There,
Yeah,
it's like more. It's socialist. Yeah, evenly spread.
exactly.
Yeah,
It was a Bernie Sanders. Like we have pedophilia for the rich,
yeah,
and
yeah.
and we have
I'm once
age
again
of
asking you
consent for the
to
poor.
fuck an 8-year-old.
Age of consent for the poor.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, from the 5 to the 6, we be in the mix with that rare candy paint job on the whip. I need food for the kids, money for the rent. Fuck a lockdown, baby, I can't do that shit. And I don't never vote, cause I'm fucking broke. And either way, I know the police ain't gon' leave me alone. On a plane by to visit Glen Rock, need crypto, told me I should bring the Glock with me. So I packed up my piece and I'm sliding. Cause we might get caught up in a riot. Middle finger Trump, middle finger Biden. Fuck a left, fuck a right, is you riding? Know you love to see it, dudes rocking. Ain't no politics, baby, we just talking. From the birds to the bricks, we be in the mix with that rare candy paint job on the whip. Who you with?
Yeah, but no, France is crazy because like I was thinking in my head, like you're seeing France go crazy. Anybody who doesn't know, Macron, I believe is his name, Macron's disease, some might call him. It might be Macron. I have no idea.
No, I think it's Macron. Dude.
Macron, yeah, Macron, yeah, whatever.
Macron, dude.
Yeah. Macron 4. And so anyways, he's saying basically France to go to a coffee shop soon. I think they're saying as early as August, go to a coffee shop, go to a supermarket, go anywhere on the train to go to your job. You have to be vaccinated with proof of vaccination or a negative COVID test. You know what I found out about the COVID test? I don't know if you know about this too. So the PCR test, I found this out from Sam from Twink Rev. Shout out him. He posted this. He said he posted like a few screen caps of an article, and it was saying now the PCR tests are going to cost money in France. So basically, it's like
it's a tax.
Yeah. It's basically like, hey, if you're going to be unvaccinated, slide bread.
That's exactly what. Yeah, it's a tax, and it's not just it's a financial and other kind of tax. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
but the protests, but the protests are insane. Like if you're on YouTube, you can see behind me they have the crazy protests, and they're going crazy in the streets. They're only 36.4% vaccinated, which is nuts. Like to be able, like I will say Macron is a Chad for trying that. Be like, we're 36.4%, and now you can't do any of this
politically, like going against the literal majority of a constituency.
That's why that's what I'm saying. Like to really go after, like you're like, well, to be fair, we do that a lot here. We favor like 1% of the population over a lot of people. So
no, this is like an issue. This is different.
This is like, sure. And what I found funny was like thinking about like how the leftists, like the like super Pfizer leftists, that were J&J or all of them, and they got to be looking at this because like that's sick, right? When you're like throwing fucking tear gas back at the cops and shit like that, they love that shit, right?
Yeah.
See that. But it's against mandatory vaccinations, which a lot of them are absolutely for.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought this up. We'll go on, but then I'll tell you my. Yeah.
I just had something funny in my head. I'm just picturing like a leftist like scrolling and like seeing these videos, like interesting, like throwing this stuff. Interesting. Oh, there sure are a lot of jet ski dealers out in France. Huh?
Yeah. Exactly.
There are a lot of boat dealers out there, cops and kulaks.
Yeah,
and
and I was on because pretty much the only thing I go on Reddit for anymore is like lockdown skepticism shit. It's like there's a lockdown critical left is a pretty good sub,
right?
It's exactly like us, basically. There was a post today that was like, I wonder how all the leftists in America are going to reckon seeing like that they're actually on the wrong side of this issue finally, and they're like, yeah, like a year ago it'd be like based France, like what fucking dumbass Americans will never protest shit.
Yeah,
dude, it's like, can you imagine? You can't protest the vax in America without
CNN's up in your head. Jake Tapper's calling you a fascist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, MAGA, whatever. And it's crazy because what was I saying? Oh, I had a train of thought there. It'll come to me in 5.
You're saying for the subreddit, the leftists were.
And UK too. The man, it's great. Like for as much as we talk about like America being propagandized, man, BBC is like blatant. They're just, they don't even give a fuck, dude. They're hilarious how
Absolutely.
propaganda. And so yeah, they have crazy stuff, you know, they won't even touch it, and then when they do, you know, it's crazy. Yeah, but there's no fucking protests in America. It's so sad.
It's
you know?
sad. And
Really what it is all, it's like if you just live in a state, or not even a state, a fucking region of the country or your state that doesn't care about masks. You know, I was just out in fucking Eastern Oregon. Man, it's so rad not having to fucking care about a mask. You know, no, people aren't dropping like flies or anything. Then you go back to Portland. Well, I will say though, like, man, I went into Trader Joe's the other day and put my mask on because I'm not attached to this place. I don't care about freedom. I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. I don't even hang out, you know, with people or anything. And but man, people weren't wearing their mask. Like half the people weren't wearing masks in Trader Joe's. Some of the cashiers even aren't.
What's your protocol when you go in? Because I'm the same way. Where if I see, how many people do you need to see without a mask before you?
Oh, if it's, I'll take it off if there's like 33% that don't have it on.
Well, to me, I'm a first three people I see. I'm that guy.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then hey, as I go through the store, if I see like 7 more people, all right.
No, but I went to the store, the Natural Grocer, which before they would have like the sign on their door being like, if you don't want to wear a mask, like here's Kate Brown's like phone number, call her or some dumb shit like that. And then I would put on my mask on because I'm like, I love that store, but I'm not gonna push it, you know, or whatever. And then my fucking cashier wasn't wearing a mask, and I'm like, what, you know, what changed? And so yeah, it's over. But the LA thing.
Oh, sorry. One more thing.
Yeah, on France. Yeah.
One more thing. I just staying in Europe. Greece, Mediterranean stuff. They're going crazy. There's thousands of people.
That's right. I don't know as much about that one.
No, but it's the same concept. I don't know what their vaccination rate is out there, but I'd imagine that to be fair, like you probably have to have more than half to do what they're doing. You know what I mean? More than half unvaxxed, I should say.
Yeah.
Like you have to be like France.
Yeah.
Now, what I will say to Americans who might be feeling kind of shitty about this is, or saying like, why aren't we like this, or why aren't we out in the streets doing this kind of stuff? One, maybe this could be a lesson on teaching people how to protest. Look, we didn't criticize the Floyd protests very much while they were happening. In retrospect, what I could think about is like, okay, when the police kill somebody, what does Target do for the police, right? When you burn down Target, like, you know, just you know, I'm not trying to, like, I understand like unrest and stuff, whatever, no problem.
I see what you're saying.
But like France is like, okay, remember you and I were talking about this, right? When those guys would dump like a fucking thing of like shitty fertilizer ass soil like all over the fucking, you know, local representatives like doorstep with like a fucking loader or a, you know, tractor or whatever, would dump that like on there whenever like certain prices would go up. Without, you know, when they could sense like an artificial price raise in raise in agriculture, they would go directly to that person, dump that shit on their doorstep, and be like, "That's a wrap. Like, fuck off." Right? When good old boys Bog Beef was on here, when he said that, he said, "McDonald's goes in France. They don't want McDonald's. They understand how shitty McDonald's is. They'll burn down McDonald's." You know, and I'm just saying, like, we are so confused on who is at fault in this country. We're so confused because if you ask 7 people who the worst person in the country is, you're gonna get 7 widely different answers. Not just different answers. Maybe people like in certain countries, like Trump, anything. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Trump, you know, the guy who's not even in any kind of political capacity anymore, Trump, like, or like any person like that, but like, or Biden, you'll get any of that, but nobody knows exactly what, and nobody's very local here. And that's still why I value localism, because people don't even know in their own state what the problem is.
Well, this is a weird ass country. It's a huge ass country with 50 fucking states. You know, that's the thing about it. And it's just, with Europe. And what's funny about that, like, the majority aren't vaccinated. And like, I was talking on Twitter about this, like, even the more, like, if you're less likely to get vaccinated if you're a nurse or a doctor, which is just, it's crazy to me. Like that should be like, that's what I tell people, that like, you know, if anyone gives me shit for not getting the vax, I'm like, all right, I tell you what, get the CDC 100% vaccinated and the WHO and doctors and nurses. I'll be the first. I'll finally get it. Yeah.
Didn't Fauci have like his own staff? Remember he had that congressional hearing where like, I don't know if it was a hearing or somebody. He was on some kind of like with a microphone in his face, but like in a courtroom kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he was saying like there was like 33% of his staff was like unvaccinated, and this was like well after the rollout. I wasn't like, oh, they just can't get an appointment. You know, I swear.
Yeah,
it's too tough
Fauci
over
staff
there.
can't get an
It's
appointment
tough over there. I swear.
Yeah.
He's just like, well,
Yeah.
And no, it's not. It's not like, and he was just like, oh, you know, they make their own decision. He basically was like, they make their own decisions. And what I found funny about when you said just like, you know, if anyone gives me shit for it, I was looking at, somebody did a screen cap like compilation thread of this subreddit. I don't remember what it was called. Some subreddit that has just complete shit livery, leftery about COVID.
Yeah.
And there was some like somebody was saying like it was just I do not understand Reddit, so forgive me if I don't know the terms, but like it was a thread basically, right? Like on Twitter with people discussing it, going back and forth.
Yeah.
And one guy was like, honestly, I'm so tired of the anti-vaxxers. I'm so tired of them. They made their bed and they can sleep in it. And this is in terms to like harassing anti-vaxxers, right? Like keeping them out of things, keeping them out of stores and all that stuff. He's like, they made their bed and they can sleep in it. I said, think about that saying for a second. They made their bed and they can sleep in it. Okay, what does that mean? That actually means like, you're done. I'm going to leave you alone and deal with your own actions.
Yeah.
That's what that means, which is exactly what I want.
Yeah. I'm like, great. Thank you.
Let me sleep in my bed. No, what you want to do is you want to have me sleep outside in a cardboard box because my bed might spread fucking diseases to another. It's like, fuck you.
The funny,
leave me alone. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing you got to understand about Reddit vaccine discourse is it's literally all bots and paid troll. Like, I think that shit is over exaggerated on some platforms. You know, people like Twitter, like bot. I'm like, that's probably
you're a bot. You disagree with me. You're a bot.
But Reddit, no, Reddit is fucking total. Yeah, it's
isn't the mascot for Reddit a robot?
Yeah. But what I love, my favorite type in this whole vaccine debate are the bros that admit that it doesn't prevent transmission or anything like that.
Yeah.
You know?
I know what you mean.
And they'll fully say that's like, this is all about just, reducing severity of disease. And you're seeing a lot of this discourse with the Yankees bros that tested positive even after getting vaccinated, like that whole thing that's going on.
People freaking out about it.
Yeah. So they admit that, it doesn't do jack shit to prevent transmission, just prevents disease. Again, that might be true. That might be true, in terms of, all that
I don't think that's untrue. Yeah.
Yeah. But they still want you to get it. And you're like, you're just admitting this is like social coercion. It's like,
dude, the worst part is the service. Like, some people say it like it's a service to your country, especially like the hardcore libs. Like
that's what I'm saying. That's my point.
Yeah. Like a service to your country. Like they'll say like, especially when you complain about adverse effects, they'll be like, look, myocarditis, deep vein thrombosis, like a lot of stuff that's been happening. And they'll say, oh, that's 113 million. And it's like, look at the COVID deaths. And just certain things like that. But in my head, I'm thinking, okay, so you're admitting there's flaws. Like you're admitting that me as a relatively healthy 30-year-old person that I will be facing, but it's like my service. It's like a thank you for your service. Like you could have died. You're telling me that. You could have died, or you could have had this horrible adverse reaction. And let me tell you something about this guy at my work. It was crazy. He's an older guy, like probably like late 50s. And he's working with me. He's kind of an oddball, kind of like one of those guys where like he could have like a 10 cassette tape autobiography. Like you don't know who he is, but you could like listen to his autobiography. And you're like, damn, like on some Joe Dirt shit. Like, wow, this is crazy. And we're talking, and he called off of work yesterday. We'd been working together all week. We go to different sites every day, but they'll stick you with a guy for a week. Just you and him in the truck. And he told me, he told my boss, I get in and I say, hey, where's so-and-so? Oh, he's not coming in. He said he felt like some allergies that he thought might be a cold, and he knows you're unvaccinated. So he didn't want to get you sick.
Yeah.
Which is like, it's weird because then like it's my fault.
Yeah.
Like where it's like, oh, he didn't want to get you sick. It's like, well, I obviously don't care if I get it.
Yeah. That's
and they're like, yeah, exactly. You made your bed, now sleep in it. That is me making my bed and sleeping. Now you're suffering on my behalf.
Exactly.
And that guy's not a bad guy. I talked to him today. I'm like, hey, don't worry about me. Like, I'm not. Well,
he might just be using you as an excuse. I got a bro here that's
it's possible. Yeah, and I thought about that too. Yeah.
I don't know. I got a bro here. I don't know exactly his job, but it's more like a kind of like a I don't want to say government job, but more like on that line of kind of,
Right.
like kind of like office kind of, everyone playing by the rule, following the CDC guidelines and shit. And he's chilling now. Because he's unvaxxed and was like, went to some crowded thing or whatever, and he's playing the whole, and and he's like a hard worker. He's not like generally trying to skip work or whatever, but now he's like, he's like, yeah, I'm unvaxxed and it's CDC guy. I'm taking a week. I'm given a free week because it's CDC guidelines that I quarantine now for a whole week after. So I'm like, dude, that's base. Yeah. But yeah, it's so funny seeing like this debate happen, and the whole thing. And I've talked about this before of like the whole, like, I'm not anti-vax, but kind of people.
I go off. I know this is your thing. Go off.
Yeah. Well, it's just funny. I get where you're coming from when you say that, when people say that. And you're trying to, you're trying to maintain some street cred and not seem like a crazy fuck and all that shit, right? But it's funny, like, people that have been vax hesitant for a long time, for well before COVID. And the thing, this is like the first, COVID, this whole thing this year is unprecedented. Everyone locked down and talking about this for a year and a half.
That was my
but I mean, and that's the thing, they've tried to do this before. There's been other like pandemics, like bird flu and shit, where they've kind of tried to make this thing happen before, you know what I mean? And it just
they were testing the waters, and everyone was like, come on, what?
Yeah, it just never hit. Like something about this year, I think with the Trump thing, and they got all their cards, they played.
Why? And the fact that we can stay inside and not miss.
Exactly.
We've talked about it for a while. You couldn't do it any other year than this year.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
it's just so funny here because and we don't have to. We got to make a whole other episode about this, but if you know the history of like polio and polio vaccines, or measles, or smallpox and all this stuff, like, the more you know about the real history about that stuff, always, without a doubt, the less it makes vaccines look less good than they're propagandized to be. You know what I mean? So I mean, like, literally, like, the more you study it, the more, like, and with just for an example, like polio, right? It's the narrative is, we were being ravaged by polio. It was causing all this crazy paralyzations and all this shit, and childhood death and everything, iron lung, can't breathe and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then this magical vaccine came along and completely cured polio, right? And like, that's not true. That's completely false. That's
Jonas Salk, right? Was that?
Yeah. That's a scientific fairy tale, and it's like, there's so much weird shit about polio. First of all, like, the way they define the vaccine. Like, okay, there are kids in America today that are on a modern version of what we would call the iron lung, that have a modern version of what we would have used to define as polio. There's polio in America. You know what I mean? It's like
so it's still here.
It's here. It's not eradicated. And especially in other countries, third world countries and stuff like that. And then there's
the ones that we're sending AstraZeneca, the bad doses too.
Yeah, exactly.
The ones that hey, give that to the iron lung kid. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's also the, people saying like Paul Offit is a major vaccine shill, and he's literally made, he has a patented rotavirus vaccine that made him like $150 million. Like, he's total shill. And he has this thing. He's like, look, all vaccines give, like, if there are side effects, they're apparent within 2 months, like, full stop. So it's like, it's fine. If we know what happens within 2 months, we're fine, basically. And that's complete bullshit, because the most famous vaccine of all time, polio vaccine, has the SV40 issue, where it's literally carcinogenic monkey cells are used to create it, and it gave people cancer. It's like a huge problem with it. So I mean, there's just, man, it's like, the more you dig into it. So it's just funny watching people that are like, that were never vaccine hesitant now, but they're a little bit more awake.
Okay.
And now they're always like, I'm not anti-vaccine, but I'm like, I bet I could turn you into anti-vaccine.
Well, then that's the thing.
Yeah.
Is the door not open? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Now, I know
I'm not begrudging them. I'm not begrudging.
Well, I'm not saying you are. Now, I just mean, in a sense, like, okay,
I'm saying, like, it's funny. It's funny from my perspective.
You can't dump that much on people, is all I'm gonna say. Like, I'm not saying you can't. You can to certain people, but like, some people they're figuring this out right now. I see some people where the wheels are turning.
Yeah.
Like, they're saying like, okay, this is bad. Now it's like, okay, we're what into the vaccine rollout. When did it roll out? Probably November of last year, right? Is that where we're saying, okay, so what? That's 8-9 months.
Yeah.
That we've been.
God, time is flying by.
Yeah,
It's
exactly. I
crazy,
mean, it's
dude.
almost August. It's like it's
Jesus
crazy.
Christ,
So
man. Yeah.
so when time flies when you're having fun. I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah, but the
Fun spelled like P.
Pfizer fun.
Yeah, fun. Yeah, yeah.
And,
PFUN.
fun. Yeah, and
Episode title, dude.
yeah. And so people I think can be you're it's easy to do that. It's the same way when people find out about one conspiracy theory, they get into about 7 other ones where they're like, okay, nothing.
Oh,
I believe
this will
before.
trigger a huge awakening of
I think so.
for like 10% of the population of I agree.
Well, but here's the thing, like
I felt that last year, like even before the vaccines rolled out, I was like, this is gonna wake some people up for sure. Go on.
Well, and I'm laughing because now that okay, so they're saying America. Shout out to my guy Bird. I know he listens. He was saying in our Discord that he's kind of he's a graph guy. This guy likes graphs. He likes graphs with
Graphs and charts,
defined data. He was talking about that today. He's like, I hate when I see those like stupid graphs where there's like literally no reference and it's just lines. Like you'll see that like a lot of live shits like that.
Yeah.
And
it's like the debunker guy, like, look at the chart. Look,
yeah,
you know, he's
it's
like
just a chart. It's the emoji of the stock emoji.
Fucking,
like it's just it's going up. Whatever it is, it's going up. And and what he was saying is he's basically saying out of everything he said, the most sound data he's seen is that America is 58.6% vaccinated.
Oh, in terms of everyone.
For
now,
COVID.
is that the entire population or eligible like adult population? Probably adults.
I don't know. And
yeah.
Okay,
but anyway,
probably
60%,
that. Yeah, you're probably right. Maybe over 18, I would think. But
okay,
but nonetheless, that's a lot.
That is
a lot, and that means it's not working. This shit is not working for them. That's what people need to realize. If we've gotten a lot of people following us now that are very much more so like us in this scenario.
Mm-hmm,
like there's a lot of people. There's some people I think that tune out these episodes. That's fine. But there's some people, these are their favorites.
Yeah.
And I think
that's the way it always is. Yeah.
That's is what it is. This is what you get. I don't change anything.
Yeah.
We're on FedPost and somebody literally did a stenography of what we say, and we're stammering and we sound like retards. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, do we work on that? Nah, what you see is what you get. That's what you get.
I like how, first of all, I like that was COH, or was it Slav? Was it I read that, I was like, this is beautiful. First of all, this is
first
amazing.
off, it made I was like, you're trying to dunk on me. This is fantastic. Like,
this is incredible.
You.
Yeah,
exactly. Frame this, please.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Okay, Aaron Brothers and shit.
Yeah.
Take this in.
Yeah.
And funny, right? So nonetheless, like, but we have some people who like these. This is the best shit we talk about, is this kind of stuff. Now there's people that are very doomer pilled on that, some of these people, but like, you have to realize this shit is not working. We had the ultimate psyop. I'm not sure, and this is weird, I'm not sure they could have gone any harder with the vaccine psyop in the last year or so, right?
No,
I don't think they could have. What other avenue other than the mandatory shit? They're going door to door now in low income neighborhoods. They keep saying it's not low income, but they're saying targeted neighborhoods for vaccination compliance.
It's the whole black people can't think for themselves lib logic, dude. It's
100% infantilization,
fucking
because they're
crazy
infants.
racist, dude.
They're infant, and to be fair, they're infants. They're like, I'm an infant too, and I need you to be an infant with me. Like that's the way.
Did you see that? What's that? Olivia Rodriguez, what's her name? The pop star, you know, at the White House.
Shout out Thought Topics. That's how I heard about her.
Fucking Biden and her. I'm like, any 18-year-old girl next to Biden.
How many takes did I take when Biden stopped sniffing her?
I know,
like,
dude, his green lines are like fucking horse, just like straight, dude. Like
she's alpha, just getting sniffed.
Yeah, dude.
And
dude, I scroll that timeline, dude. It's slaps.
You see the one with the dog?
Alpha oh dude, that's beautiful.
Alpha dog, and the dog straight up, and the guy's leaning into his dog.
That's some real shit. Like straight up, like a chick will choose her dog over her man. If like that's some. I was like stroking my chin on that one. I'm like, holy shit, man. Yeah.
Alpha Rivellino, if you ever please come on this podcast. I have to talk to you. There's a few things I have to talk to you about. But anyways, what I will say to the people who are not, or who doomer, I feel a lot better about this right now. I'm a lot more optimistic than I was about just this vaccination thing. It's not working. It's not work. They're
no, but I agree. But they have 7 ways from Sunday to twist it to make it your fault.
Until it's, you can. The public opinion does not bother me. People that say I suck, like, oh, you're a murderer, all that stuff. I don't care about that.
You feel vindicated for your choice of not doing it. Yeah,
that too. But it's. I thought there was literally going to be employment threatened. I mean, maybe that's just me. Maybe there. I mean, there is in some scenarios. Like I know one of my buddies is at.
Well, that's funny. I thought there was going to be unemployment threatened. You have to get vaccinated to get your $700.
I got news for you. I just clicked on this tweet. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
but But now
Yeah.
I will say, you're saying that, they have another way to get at us. It's not over. I'm just saying, as of now, you remember at the beginning of the year, you and I both were like, fuck, you know what I mean? Like, this is bad.
Yeah.
So, but this chick right here, man, this chick is our enemy. And I got to play this. Anybody who hasn't heard it, I can't remember her name, but I hate her and I want.
Oh, dude, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
I think this really depends on what it is that we do at this point. So now we have this Delta variant that is much more contagious. Because it's more contagious, it's going to be even harder for us to reach herd immunity. We're going to have to vaccinate an even higher proportion of people to get there. What happens then if we end up having another variant developing that's even more contagious, that could cause more disease, that could evade the protection of our immune system? And so how quickly we get this under control and which way we go depends on what we do now when it comes to vaccination, to overcoming disinformation. And what we really need to do at this point is to make vaccination the easy choice. It needs to be hard for people to remain unvaccinated. Right now, it's kind of the opposite. It's fine. I mean, it's easy if you're unvaccinated. You can do everything you want to do anyway. But at some point, these mandates by workplaces, by schools, I think it will be important to say, hey, you can opt out, but if you want to opt out, you have to sign these forms. You have to get twice weekly testing. Basically, we need to make getting vaccinated the easy choice. That is what it's going to take for us to actually end the pandemic.
Yeah. Put her in prison, 25 to life, please.
Yo, that's great. No, well, she actually believes that. You could tell she's.
Do you think so, or is she bankrolled, dude? Like, I feel like her husband's doing Maury backflips when the Maury guy finds out he's not the father on like heads of money, dude. Just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You think she believes that?
Test results show you don't have COVID. He's like got the card and the shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
all right, that's the clip art for this. Yeah, then
Maury backflip with the Pfizer logo in the background. Yeah, that's it. That's
no. I think she's a true believer. What's crazy is how it's so fun, man. It's like so, and you
but they're grasping at straw. What I'm getting at is like, do you think they actually thought they were gonna have to do this?
What do you mean?
The begging and the pleading on CNN and the like, we're going to threaten you with it. Do you really think that they were going to, 8 months into a vaccine rollout, they thought they were going to have to, I think they're audibling at the line of scrimmage right now. And that's good.
Yeah. I think, well, there's two, like, who are they? Are they the pharma companies or are they like the general public?
I mean, she's clearly fucking bankrolled, dude. She's a CNN medical contributor.
Yeah, for sure.
That's her job title. You think I don't doubt that by Pfizer?
What I'm saying is it's possibly bankrolled and be a true believer. This is what I learned from the
100%.
GMOs.
You do what you love for a living. You never work a day in your life. Well, okay, sure.
Like there's people that are like into, like that literally believe Monsanto is the savior of humanity. And then there's people that make money from Monsanto or work there and know the whole thing's bullshit. You know, and so I'm saying, like, the execs and the focus group people and the people steering the ship at those corporations, not the foot soldiers. Like, I think she's a foot soldier. They for sure they know all the facts about the Delta variant and know that it's that's bullshit, and they create this narrative because they know they control the lib mind, and they know they don't want COVID to end, right? We all know that.
Of course.
They want infinite variants. So what's funny is, like, if that's your real concern, if you really, and that's why this is why the libs, they deep down, they don't want this shit to end, because they're winning, dude. They're winning. They got the cultural and moral support of the entire, like, we're the fringe one, even though they might be growing more and more, we're still the fringe ones that thinks it's all bullshit.
We're still the underdog. We're about okay. We went from plus 1250 at the beginning of this, maybe plus 2500. I think we're down to plus 650
right now. Yeah
That's what I'm saying. We're getting close to even.
Exactly. So, like, this is what Brett Weinstein talks about, and this is why I got respect, because he's like kind of a normie in the sense. I mean, I love his mind, I love his podcast and his COVID thoughts and lab leak and all that shit and vaccines, and you could tell this is why you can never play the centrist role because you'll never be good enough for those guys.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? You'll never be good enough for the vax pushers. If you question them in the slightest, you are bad. You know, and you are not.
Might as well lean into
you're
it. Go all the
anti-science.
way bad.
Yeah. So his whole thing, and he's kind of what I mean by norm. And this, I don't agree with him on everything. He's like he's like, we have to drive COVID to extinction. He's kind of like a zero COVID bro, right? But his whole thing is like, even if you're 100% fanatical pro-vax, you should still be pro, let's say, ivermectin or any prophylactics like vitamin D or anything, because it will cover the bases for anyone that doesn't want, because you're never going to get 100% vaccination or 75%.
You don't want to live in a country where you do, because bad shit, eggs had to crack.
Exactly. And it's just like, the more you can cover, herd immunity is not a binary vaccine or not vaccine thing. That's his point, is like, if there's evidence that you can get asymptomatic cases and get low sickness rates, low viral load, which of course that's the vitamin D thing, you prevent the cytokine storm from happening and everything. Like if you have people that are vaccinated and you have people that are taking prophylaxis, you know, and covering all their bases, that's the best of both worlds. So if you're against anti-vaxxers, you should be pro them taking all the other stuff, which is perfect logic, right? It's like, but the thing is, it's not about that for these guys. It's not about like, it's about compliance.
Vaccine reductionist.
Exactly. Yeah. It's about, you know,
vax reductionist.
Vax redux killer. Yeah.
Vax redux killers.
So it's like, so again, his logic is perfect sense. You know, it's like herd immunity is a complex thing, you know, with multiple factors. Like I'm not a spreader anymore. I've got T-cell immunity. These are assumptions I'm making, but let's just go with me here. I've got T-cell immunity. I take a fuck ton of vitamin D year round. I've done course of ivermectin, which we can talk about if you want, but I don't.
Oh, I have a huge, I have to tell my story about that family person.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's clear. So again, like if you're freaking out about, and the irony is there's good evidence that COVID-19 vaccines, since they're hyper focused on one version of the spike protein and the variants are just a spike protein based thing. Again, there's good evidence that excessive focus on vaccination could actually drive variants stronger than if you're doing like a broad spectrum immunity prophylaxis approach.
Why do they? That's the ultimate gaslight. And I already know what your response is going to be when I say this, because I know you're going to do the kind of "I told you so" thing, because you're right. But when people are saying like the unvaxxed people literally are causing variants, is what they say, and I'm like, no, it's complete opposite.
It's always the complete opposite with vaccines.
But I'm sure that's what you would say about the other, you know, in the past, other vaccines for the stuff like you're the reason this outbreak happened.
Remember a couple of years ago, or probably longer than that now. Remember the whole Disney measles thing?
Yeah.
And everyone pinned it on, oh, it's like dumbass, like Instagram, like hippie moms, you know, that aren't vaccinating their kids.
Always them.
And then you look at the cases.
I feel bad for Disney Instagram moms.
No, the Disney. Oh yeah, I see. Yeah.
I feel bad for them. They're getting a bad rap.
They do. Yeah,
getting a bad rap. That's all I'm saying.
But it's just so crazy that and this is when even I was red pilled with this shit, where you what am I saying? So you look at the cases of who actually got measles, and it's like, oh, surprise, it's highest in the people that are vaccinated. And then you look and you're like, oh, what's this little small ass town in Canada, just for one example, that has like a 99% measles vaccination compliance and has a huge measles outbreak. This shit doesn't work, is what I'm saying. And the thing is, that's because vaccines do not provide A, comprehensive, and B, lifelong immunity. So it doesn't work fully in the short term, and it certainly doesn't work in the long term. And they'll say like, oh, well, you know, you need boosters throughout your life and all that stuff, but no one gets that for regular vaccines, you know, unless you're going to like fucking Bangladesh or something and you get forced to take a vaccine or whatever for some crazy ass disease. But you know what I'm saying? So that's the whole thing, is like, it's always the opposite. It's straight Orwell, you know, war with your age kind of vibes, you know, like, it's always the opposite of what
look at the way that we actually treat our actual immune system. Like we basically are psyoped into the fact that our natural immune system will never be good enough, right? We'll never. I was just looking up something the other day that I actually think it was Mel. Shout out Mel. Was posting about it, and she was saying like, or I posted a screen cap of somebody saying, like people will like say, oh, in the past, right, with if we just did pure natural immunity to a lot of stuff, maybe some prophylaxis. I think you and I can agree that we don't have to go off pure natural immune system. But what she was saying was like, you have, like, they'll say, oh, the life expectancy in fucking a long ass time ago was like 40 years old. And it's like, well, a lot of that shit was like infant mortality rate.
It's a statistical thing.
Super fucking skewed. When it could be
it's a weird
perfected childbirth. I'll say it right now. We've perfected childbirth in America. Like we're good on that part.
But are we even?
Okay, the epidural. Okay, whatever.
I'm saying like our rates aren't. No, first world.
No, I'm not saying perfected is not the case.
But I know
we've got like we're not going to
better than it was fucking 400 years ago for sure.
It's enough. It's enough to make the life expectancy go up a lot. Is all I'm going to say.
I don't disagree with that.
That's all I'm going to say. I'm not. I mean, and people say, oh, epidural kids are born on opioids. There's a lot of shit that can with that. And like you said, there's deaths.
I'm just saying, like, not America. Like our current
worldly
is
worldly.
Good.
Gotcha. Yeah.
America is like middle of the pack in terms, but I know what you're saying.
So I'm saying is there's three major fallacies about this virus that I think really can just seep into every single take you have about this virus. And I see some people that their logic does not align. They'll kind of cancel themselves out and they won't have a coherent COVID take. Now, the three things you need to remember about COVID is, one, it's endemic, absolutely endemic. It's here to stay for life. Yeah. Right. And you could take that as a doomer pill, but you shouldn't, because you're fine. You know what I mean? Two, our natural immune system works naturally. Artificial immune systems have loopholes. We're building artificial immune systems is what we're doing. With a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, I like this. Yeah.
Okay. And then three is basically the lockdowns don't work. We know that's true.
Yeah.
And it's okay to let go of the masks.
I love how everything that was pushed, everything, lockdowns, masks, excessive sanitization of surfaces, wiping down groceries, vaccines, none of them worked. Like, it's so crazy how like literally nothing. I love those IM graphs, the fucking California and Florida, California and Texas side by side shit.
Oh yeah, I'll pull that up right now. Keep going. Yeah.
We can let go of the masks. I would add. Well, yeah, it's always the binary thing. It's always the vaccine immunity versus zero immunity type of logic, right?
Mm-hmm. So explain this graph for everybody, please, while you're saying that.
I mean,
what does this mean? What does this mean?
Well, these are Arizona new cases per 1 million. So it's
well, basically, okay, let me surmise it. Okay, Arizona, California, and Nevada, right? Now this is all one coast, but these were three states with very different COVID protocols. Okay. California went into a full lockdown. Nevada did for just a little bit, opened up a lot faster. And Arizona certain counties really didn't do shit. Certain counties did. If you look at the graph, the numbers are different, right? Like the numbers are different. Arizona went crazy. Arizona has a senior citizen population higher than both of those states. Like, so, okay, COVID's going to take out some more people there. I mean, we know that, right? But do we lock down the country for 85-year-olds? I think if that was who we knew that it was going to take out, I think most people would say, let me go about my life. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Now, Nevada and California, but you look at the trajectory, it's exactly the same, right? Okay, in the winter, it fucking spikes. Yeah, a lot of viruses do. Okay, like it's just, that's what happens. And you'll see these spikes in other places too. But you're noticing this shit doesn't matter.
No.
This shit is here. And it's the black pill. You have to take the black pill on COVID to have a good COVID take, I think. You know, you have to realize, like, okay, this is here to stay. There's so much stuff. So many people's takes are predicated by zero COVID. Can we have zero COVID or can we not? Right. And there are people that think, like in France, I scroll through the replies. I see the shit of people protesting in France and Greece. And these are people that are, I think, are mostly libs. And they're saying, like, this is why we still have the virus. This is why. And it's like, no. We could stay inside for 7 years.
Well, people like us can say we we can say what you just said, like, you know, you can admit that it's endemic, and at the same time want to do everything to decrease cases and deaths as much as possible in a logical and non-human rights violating way, you know. And that's the thing, is like people like us get accused of wanting to not being callous and not caring about, you know, grandma and you know, wanting to kill people and everything, right? And it's like, yo, like that's like offensive to me. I actually care a lot about, like, I'm fucking vegan. I don't want people to die of heart disease. I don't want people to die of cancer, you know? I don't
Right.
want people to die of the flu. Like, if there's anyone that wants disease to be culled, it's me, you
Right.
know? And
But
people
you
like
understand
me.
heart disease is still here.
Exactly. Well, and it's just knowing that, again, I firmly believe that biological terrain management is by far, and immune building is by far the best approach for any one particular virus and
Absolutely.
all of them and all diseases. It's like, if you, and I'm not saying that we can't do interventions, and there's some gnarly shit out there that we want to figure out and everything, you know, in terms of like malaria and all this different shit. But the thing is, there's always a low tech solution that gets panned for, like the fucking mRNAs and gene therapies and GMOs and all that shit, which largely do not work. You know, even if you're just going based on, forget about if you're anti-pro Luddite technology or whatever, just going based on what works. You know, do you want to do what works or not? And you know, we could, yeah. But anyway, it's and we'll talk about like reishi mushroom, you know, you know, like medicinal mushrooms, like reishi, you know, all mushrooms are good immunomodulators, but reishi in particular. Reishi mushroom extract is the most scientifically studied natural herb in the history of humanity. Okay, in terms of, like, it has one of the longest histories of any herbal use ever. And so, like, anecdotally and just culturally speaking, in East Asia and China and Japan, but it's been scientifically studied to death. It's crazy. And it's just you know, if you can take something that is immunomodulatory, not just like immunostimulant, but where it actually instructs, it's intelligent. And I'm using that in some sense of the word, you know, but it has some kind of intelligence that it instructs your immune system what to do and how to do it. And it's like, our culture focuses literally zero on immune building except for vaccines. And that's Rogan's take, right? It's like, there's no public health for vitamin D. There's no public health. And that's the thing. Like, man, like a lot of these, like that chick, you know, that on CNN or whatever, a lot of these people are, they might, or even if she's not, but these true believers, you know, who they got their panties in a bunch, and they literally think that they are the ones saving the world, right, by doing X, Y, and Z. And they don't realize just how well they've been had, you know, by the powers that be. They don't understand how completely, utterly they've been psyoped by this whole thing. It's fucking wild.
It's
Yeah.
bad.
It's
Nah,
like,
sorry, go ahead.
yeah, it's like, if you care, I'll help you understand. Like I want the same thing as you. Like, there are better ways.
We're always open to talk. That's why I laugh at people, like you know, especially online. Like you get those people, they're so aggressive, and it's like, look, I don't hate you. Like, come talk to me. You know what I mean? Like I don't hate you. You hate me. Like, that's fine.
Yes.
Like, you hate me. I'm the guy in the XFL. He hate me. The jersey in the back. You hate me. That's fine. Like, whatever. Like, but well, all right. Couple things here. So I have a kind of a long-winded story. So just, I'm going to start with Eric Garcetti in LA, because I want to talk about this. Be about your Chetty, Maine. Eddie Scratch, Maine.
Yeah.
Anyways, Eric Garcetti, terrible mayor. Shitty as fuck. Right. Like, he's awful.
Is it LA?
LA mayor. So LA is announcing now that all indoor facilities have to have masks now, vaccinated or unvaccinated, which is very funny, because, and now I don't think it's funny. I think it's fucked up, but it is very funny because you start seeing the takes come out, and you get vax buyer's remorse. There's a lot of people that talk about vax FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yeah.
This is vax buyer's remorse. I've had some people say, I wish I didn't get it. Like, I wish I didn't, because I said, yeah, I told you it's not the fucking finish line. I fucking told you. I told you there were boosters.
Well, that's the thing. If the only reason you get it is because you don't really care and you just
it's not sustainable to do that.
Yeah. If you're just like, I just want this shit to be over, and you get it.
If you
then,
eat
like,
your
you would be
vegetables because
pissed.
your mom told you instead of actually liking vegetables,
Exactly.
you're gonna stop eating vegetables the minute you move out of your mom's house,
Yeah.
and you're gonna eat fucking TV dinners and fucking nuggies and all that shit.
Yeah.
And
Teach me how to nuggie, dude.
yeah, teach me. That's a good one. But anyways.
But yeah.
So that's I'm sorry. That's such a fucked up thing. But every time I hear that song, the Teach Me How to Dougie guy, he got shot like 35 times. I don't know why that's funny, but it is. And but the dancer guys always get killed in like the fucked up way. Like it's like that's like the gangbanger out of everybody. Just
I know what's up with
that.
that.
It was like a fucked up like retaliation killing. I think like it was just crazy when you hear about that story. So you've seen a lot of buyer's remorse out of these people because they were told it was the finish line. Now. Here's where a little history of the pharmaceutical industry comes into play in making that decision, is that the finish line is you die before the finish line in pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah.
That shit keeps going. No, the finish line for you is you dying.
Yeah.
Whenever that is. Your life could be prolonged to 80, 89, whatever.
Life's
that's
not
fine.
sacred to them. Yeah.
Big Pharma doesn't want you dead.
Yeah.
Your country does not want you dead. Your country wants you sick.
Yeah.
It's two different things. Sick and dependent on the products that you have to pay for.
This is some Alex Jones build shit right here.
Country doesn't want you to they're trying to kill us. No. They're trying to put you in destitute poverty or be a rich person that has like a fucking 4-digit like pharmaceutical bill every month.
Yeah.
They want you on that shit. Like that is the way to make money off you. This system doesn't make money off you being dead.
Yeah. The dumbest people are like, well, poor people don't pay their medical bills, so that's actually dumb. I'm like, do you not get how the economics of this works? Like, it's
exactly. So anyways, like when people say there's not going to be one thing, they're not going to keep you locked down in your house for over a year, and then be like, take 2 shots, 1 or 2 shots, and then you're done. That's never going to be the case. There's a booster. Pfizer is already asking for a booster for a 3rd shot. They're saying the WHO and the CDC are like, oh, we don't need that. Give it 2 months. They're gonna be like, yeah, we should.
I love it, dude. I just sorry, I'm gonna interrupt just once. I love this pattern. It's happened like 4 times now of the WHO putting out some like actually good COVID take, and then the next day they're like, oh, sorry, we had to rewrite this one. They got the text
for the longest time.
They got the text. They're like, nah, you can't say that. Anyway, go on.
They're like, hey, delete this, fam. Anyways. So, okay, that's just what I have to tell the people. The people that thought, I was told a lot of times, we had some listeners message me, you guys should just get the vax. One guy did mental pretzel logic gymnastics, somersault, Nadia Comaneci fucking shit. And they were like, hey, we should all get vax because then the libs can't keep us in our house anymore. So you're getting vax to own the libs. And I'm like, well, repeat that to yourself.
Yeah.
And then
line by line.
Just repeat that to yourself. And anyway, and see if that still makes sense too. Anyways, it's anyway. So one story I wanted to tell, and this is another thing I think I've seen a lot of people being, and just these are people that this is all anecdotal. These are people that I've talked to that are just kind of red pilled by the medical industry now. Which I think is a good thing. A lot of people think is a bad thing. I think it's a good thing because you have to realize you are in control of your own body. You are in control. You have bodily autonomy if you want it. You can be healthier. I used to be 40 pounds heavier than I am now. Like I used to be, I'm eating a lot healthier now, and taking care of myself a lot better, getting sunlight and definitely being more conscious of what is being put in my body. And it's just better for me than just relying on intervention to, medical intervention for my body. So now, the funny thing is we've been going through this COVID thing for a while. You and I've been covering it since damn near the inception of COVID. Like just we've been talking about it, and you've had it. We think we're pretty sure that you've had it. I think I had it too at the beginning. I had some weird thing that like felt synthetic. It was weird. Felt like it was made in a lab. I knew this in December. No, I'm kidding. But
no, that's fun. When I first got it, I was
in
like,
a lab. Yeah, you're like coughing.
Just a lab cough. Yeah, this is not a
on gain of function. Yeah.
No, but I did. I knew right then. I knew exactly who. I knew the research. Yeah, the PhDs that did it.
You're coughing. Peter Daszak. Oh, you're coughing.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah.
No, but I will say, like when I first got it, I was like, this is like, this feels like half mild and half the most fucked up illness I've ever
smoking
had.
spice. Yeah. You're like,
I was just like, I was like, this feels like not that bad, but also super fucked up at the same time. And I like a month later, I'm like, damn, I'm so all tired and shit. So
yeah.
But
straight
so
up.
I do think long, and we'll say your part first, but we can get
so this is a story. So like now all this stuff we've been covering it, but I never really had to hit close. I didn't really know anybody that had a bad case, or any people that I know had it were just like, whatever. You know what I mean? I got over it. So I'm in my head now. I will say, somebody relatively close to me got it. Elderly person, 86 years old, gets it. 86 years old.
Yeah.
Now this lady gets it, was not vaxxed, didn't get the vaccine. I actually just didn't get the vaccine. And for what I'm not sure exactly the reason. I won't get into that. But now I will say this person's family around them, very based, would listen to this podcast if they knew about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure they would know, like, this episode would do great for them, you know? And so she gets hospitalized. So originally goes in, this is a person with asthma, like bad asthma, like just history of it, bad asthma, respiratory conditions. So somebody like who would be the poster child of like a COVID, casualty. We'll say that much. And goes in, they don't even test her right away. They don't even give her a test. This is a trip. Like, you go to the hospital and they're like, all right, this could be anything.
That's same thing happened to an old person I knew. That
such a trip where you're just like, what? After a year? Like, you think, like, if I'm thinking hospital brain, it's like we're testing you right away.
No, they don't. That's the thing. They don't do shit when you're.
They don't care.
That's the funniest thing. Dude.
Yeah, they don't care.
Weird.
So anyways,
a
little bit of time goes by. They go back. They're like, we're going back. Oh, this obviously whatever you guys said was not the case. They go back. They test. They go, wow, she's positive for COVID. Holy shit. They put her on all types of contraptions, breathing mechanisms and stuff. And she's not doing so hot right away. Like not doing well at all. And we're getting scared. We're like, fuck, and even my head's racing. Like, I'm like, all this shit I talked, like, this is gonna be fucked up. Like, you know what I mean? Like all like just having something hit like that, like it's still gonna be fucked up for us. And they're saying, like, the doctor, so the doctor, right, like, this is like crisis mode, right? The doctor goes in, has a 20-minute conversation, like, you should think about getting the vaccine. It's like, you're talking about somebody's on their deathbed. In your logic, there's a deathbed. They have her on 400 milligrams of vitamin D, right?
Or
and this was
I use, you mean, right?
use, sorry, thank you. And I use a vitamin
which is
D.
like, that's like less than a tenth of what you should be taking.
A child, a little baby, would take that.
That's like what's in like a cup of vitamin D milk, like
exactly.
Red cap.
They have it on that, and that was because it was, and this was tooth and nail fought by a family member who's
to just get
as hell. Pierre Corey pilled this guy. Like, he's I'm in. Like, no, and then thank God for this guy. He was hammering that to get that 400. They weren't going to give her a cinch, even just a little like a little key bump of vitamin D. And so, like, she's just not doing great at all. They up it to 2000 IU, right? Discharge the next day. Or 2 days later. I'll say that 2 days later, but there was gradual improvement where I was like, oh, now we're gonna send you home, and we're thinking like, damn, you're sending her home, what the fuck? That's kind of crazy. Like, it's like she's on oxygen. And like, the doctor in that time period before they started increasing the vitamins goes up and is like, hey, some people beat this, some people don't. You know what I mean? Like, doing that, the doctor. Like, okay, Clooney and ER, like, what the fuck is this? Like in his bedside manner. Like, you don't tell that to the person that you think is. You're like, hey, we're gonna get through this. We're gonna crush this shit. Isolation, which fucks up your head a little bit. Isolation, like, say what you will, I get it. You don't want it to spread, but like, you're by yourself, and you were told that you might not beat the situation, and you're by yourself. All you can have is a book. It's like prison. They put these people in fucking prison. And
Prison
so
Planet, Alex Jones.
This is exactly where my mind went. But so it gets discharged, vitamin D, all this kind of stuff. And they were clowning the suggestion for a long time. Clowning. They were saying like ivermectin. They said, well, ivermectin is anti-parasitic, and it's like first world country. What the fuck you want that for? And we're like, because it helps and it's cheap with COVID. Like, and then okay, like that never happened, right? Ivermectin. They didn't even have it. They're like, we don't have it. You know, let me check in the back for you. No, we don't have it. And it was all this stuff happened. Like, and they're feeding the stuff they're feeding her in the hospital.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah,
stuff they're feeding. They're like, hey, sorry, COVID's really kicking your ass. You want a milkshake?
Yeah,
like how about some dairy? I know you can't breathe well. Maybe something that causes postnasal drip would perhaps clear up the airways.
Dude, it's the weirdest thing.
It's the dumbest shit. They treat you like eating like a fucking first grader who has choice of their own menu. Like in a hospital. And
teach me how to nuggie, dude. It's fucking swear to God, man. It's like chicken tundras, dude.
Yeah, exactly. So no, nonetheless, 86-year-old woman.
Yeah.
With asthma.
Yeah.
That and here's another trip, dude. A year in the past. I want to say it was a year ago. I was told the story. I might be getting the information wrong. Like for a while, like they got pneumonia and all of a sudden became real sickly at like 80 in their mid 80s, like just real sickly. Like after just kind of being regular, like, hey, every once in a while I get a cold. Every once in a while I get this.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden gets pneumonia. Starts, having all this shit, have COVID, all this kind of stuff. Got the pneumonia vaccine before that.
Yeah.
Pneumonia shot, like, and it's like what we're trying to artificially make ourselves immune from these diseases. And look, I understand that COVID escaped from a lab, but like even then, man, like it's not killing people that crazy, so you can beat it naturally. And
well, that's the thing that's like my whooping cough experience of being fully vaxxed. And again, we're the generation that got vaxxed the hardest. Well, now it's even more, but like the first generation that was like really hit. Got like when it went from like 3 vaccines to like 30, and some crazy shit. But sorry, were you keep going.
I guess what I'm saying is now where that takes me now is where we're at, and this is the last thing I kind of wanted to talk about today. Was like, are you allowed to get sick anymore without it being like
only from vaccines?
Only that, because that's just you go crack a few eggs and make an omelet. Deep vein thrombosis, myocarditis in kids that don't need the vax but should get it because we don't want the kids to be Republicans eventually. And and we want exactly. So we don't want them to storm the Capitol, so you have to vax them. And you're not allowed to get sick anymore. And also my point wrapping up that other story was basically like, we locked down the country for this. We locked down the country when there were cheap remedies available, pharmaceutical and non-pharmaceutical. You could have been a hippie or a fucking lib, like you said,
or both.
Like you said, you could have been just or like you could have been like the I trust pharmaceuticals. There were pharmaceuticals available.
I'm actually one point on the hospital thing. It's funny how everyone that has experience with hospitals and ER doctors hates it and thinks it's complete trash, right? But for some reason, we don't do anything about that and just think that that's the way it is. But the second that, on the hippie, on the whole prophylaxis thing, or not prophylaxis, from if you're super sick, on a hospital bed or a deathbed situation. And this is why these studies are so, everyone's arguing about, the whole Claire Lemon with the ivermectin thing.
Yeah,
and like,
fuck her. Worst person on Twitter.
Dude,
fuck her. I don't care. You motherfucking
trash,
sick,
dude.
weird incel motherfuckers. Get over it, okay?
Yeah.
Get over that.
There's
shit.
other hot chicks. Like you don't.
Yeah, they're
don't,
insane.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, like I'm not even sure her country exists. So
let's do a whole episode on that, dude.
Fuck her. But fuck Claire Lemon.
And it's funny, dude. I'm sorry. Like, I know, like we're of like the ilk of like, we're like, critical race theory's dumb and people focus too much on that shit. But Quillette is like racist to me, dude. Like they're straight, like they have some weird.
Claire Lemon in a span of like 36 hours had like the bad take Olympics.
Yeah,
in one.
Unlock the account,
like,
bro.
Olympic
like,
athlete of bad takes.
Yeah,
It was like was like, okay, Florence Johnson, black track athlete, had acrylic nails, therefore was on HGH. And then look at the traps here. Look at her traps. Like she's definitely FTM, and like, and then you and then, like doing all that, and then was just like Brett Weinstein, a guy who's completely like probably has the best COVID takes like out of anybody who with a major following. Don't be so Luddite. And like these are people. I'm sorry, your country sucks. Australia's the fucking dumbest country on the earth right now, and we're not sure if it's on the earth if you're flat earther. So you're not sure if it's even there. And
it's a fucking mental simulation.
We're not
to
sure.
Make us crazy.
It would make more sense if that were the case. Now you're talking about the dumbest country on earth. These are people. I saw this lady tweet the other day. I didn't bookmark it, and like this guy was like, "Hey, just so we don't have to have like a huge lockdown, we should lock down." In Australia, in Sydney,
26th time, dude. Yeah, that's always the case, man. It's always
it's always like
it's like a drug, dude. Just one more bump.
There's still 2 weeks to slow the spread over there. That's where they're at right there. And so I'm sorry we derailed. That's why I'm glad you brought up her because I'm glad I could not leave her unscathed on this. Fuck her. Yeah,
man, that's depressing to me, man, because it's like, I mean, like Brett Weinstein is like he's so careful with what he says. You know? He's like such
an insult,
and he's like he's hella pro-vax, dude. That's the crazy thing. He's like a vax dude, you know. And it's just, and again, like all he's saying is like, maybe there's other things that nope, can't say that, you know. But what I'm saying is, and I used to be like, maybe a few years ago, I was, and this is a common thing I think for people like me, like the hippie type, where you're completely anti-pharma, like to an extreme degree. You overcorrect, right? And then you realize, well, like, okay, most of the shit's bullshit, and all the novel shit is bullshit that they're trying to make money off of. But there are pharmaceuticals that are incredible, you know, and have changed the face of the earth and are fantastic, right? And like ivermectin, you know. So what I'm saying is like, you know, forget about prophylaxis. You know, if you are,
that's what I always say.
And like, and look at these. So what I'm talking like these ivermectin studies. You know, there's lots of studies that show a crazy effect from small doses or courses of ivermectin. Right? You take it for 2 days, you're good. You're protected for like a couple weeks or a month.
Right.
You take it for 5 days, you're good for you can clear it up if you're in the hospital kind of thing. You know, 80% people can do that or whatever. And then there's like other studies that are like don't show an effect, or they're and like the pro ivermectin types, which I probably fall into, are like those are poorly designed studies. They don't give them a lot. They don't give them the actual protocol from what ER doctors are saying is needed to, like Pierre Corey. But my whole thing is like, it's so funny how it's like we study everything one at a time, and we're hyper focused on these randomized controlled trials, which is a pharma psyop. You know, you're like, I'm not saying good quality data doesn't exist, but it's like the people that can pay for randomized controlled trials are pharma companies. You could have shitty drugs passed by RCTs and miracle drugs fail what they would call an RCT, you know?
Right.
But anyway, it's like, but all this is even besides the point. Like, why are we focused on one thing? What if we, you know, like you hear about like, there's vitamin D studies that come out, you know, and for even, man, like 4,000 or 5,000 IUs is like my daily dose. Yeah. You know, that's like a daily dose.
And that's, I'm sorry.
What about like,
you.
No.
When you know, this person was in the hospital.
Yeah.
They were saying like, everyone was saying like, roll out the math protocol, FLCCCC, like, you know, roll that out, like, please. And they're like, nah, we don't really believe in that. And they're like, what is the harm? There's no fucking side. Like, it's not like, okay.
Aren't we hiring you?
We were saying because we were in like doomer mode. We were kind of like, we'll sign whatever.
Yeah,
we'll sign whatever. Just like even like, let's say it goes horribly awry, right? Like the first ever like death off ivermectin.
Yeah.
Like we'll sign for it. Like it's fine. Like because I know that's what you're worried about, you know. And like there's obviously something happening there to where like you know, the numbers don't add up. When people throw numbers at me, people don't even throw numbers at you anymore.
Yeah.
You ever notice that? LA's in lockdown. But have you ever heard anything about their hospital numbers? No, you don't hear that anymore. They don't talk about that anymore. Our ICUs are swamped. No. It's just the Delta variant. It's more contagious. Who
Yeah.
cares? Cases
Yeah.
equal death to libs.
Exactly. Yeah.
They
Exactly.
do. Cases equal
Yeah.
deaths to libs. They'll
Yeah.
talk about the 600,000 number, but they'll take the whole case numbers as death.
They play it both ways, basically. You know, always. Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, hang on. I'm like accidentally recording a voice message or something.
Oh, sure.
Whoa, that's crazy. It picked up on all that. Yeah, what
the
they do,
entire
they
episode.
play
Oh,
it
you're
both
sending it to the
ways,
FBI.
basically.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Always. No, it's the group chat. It's funny for my house.
Oh,
yeah.
that
I'm like
is funny.
COVID pilling the group chat accidentally.
Oops, did I press record? Yeah. And
Yeah. No, what I'm saying is like, you know, and you know, like there's, you know, if you're on death's door, man, 50,000 IUs vitamin D for 3-4 days, it's not going to kill you. If you do, if you do 50,000 IUs for a month, you'll get rickets or some shit. But like, so okay, and then there's like intravenous vitamin C. This is all the hippie shit, you know, megadosing vitamins and vitamin D and C and stuff, herbs, all that, ivermectin. What happens if you take all the COVID patients, ICU patients? What happens if you do all 3 of those things? 5-day course of ivermectin, 3-day course of megadosing vitamin D, intravenous vitamin C the entire time. Like, you don't think those would have a synergistic effect? You know what I mean? You don't think they would have a fucking? It's just so peaceful.
If you actually cared about beating this shit, that's what you do.
And it's like, I'm like, and I am I'll admit that I'm the type to like get into like, oh my god, I love ivermectin now. I'm like, it's like there's always the new thing.
You were snorting it before the show. People don't realize that.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, I'm like, it's not. I don't give a fuck about ivermectin. Like, I'm like, I love it. I love it. But it's like, it's just one piece of the puzzle. It's like, let's just do it all. It's like, it's just insane to me. Yeah, man. It's just dumb how like like we're the bros in like 400 years ago that were like, why are we powdering our faces with lead? And everyone's like, oh, these guys, and you're like, that might be an
anti-lead guy.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, like Marie Antoinette's face
throwing
like
tomatoes, throwing tomatoes at you and fucking while you're naked in the courtyard while everyone's laughing.
Yeah. It's just so dumb that like literally and I don't know if this is an ego thing or not, but like, God, we gotta fucking wait. Like, we gotta wait till we're dead till we're proven right. You know, it's just so fucked up.
I think so too. I want to take a victory lap so bad, but it just feels too premature.
Yeah. But I gotta say that I did a 5-day course of ivermectin, and I don't know. People have been wanting to hear about that, and and I gotta say I gotta like, because remember the early days of COVID when we were getting pilled, and they when it was clear that it was overblown, right? And like, we're like, okay, this is bullshit. It's there's no like mass graves or anything like that. And then we kind of took. I remember when we were like, and then you kind of you get funneled into these takes. Like for me, I was like, okay, long COVID's bullshit. It's just like some dumb like lib shit, right? And I gotta say though, but I was kind of going against my own personal experience, like where I actually did have when I got COVID, I had chronic fatigue.
You were suppressing it.
And my throat was, because it got sick in my throat, and my throat was fucked up for this whole year and a half. I've been coughing, and just like right there, like one part of my throat, and it's annoying, and it's like I stopped smoking and everything. Well, I stopped and started and stopped again, but
the
but
Irish
again, it's
quit. You did the Irish
exactly,
quit.
yeah, precisely. But it's I'm just like fuck, it's like this is definitely so. I believe long COVID is a thing, and Pierre Corey. Now that I'm listening to these guys that are like care about COVID, but they're not like fucking retards about it,
Right.
Where he's like saying, a lot of times like people with mild cases will actually have the longest COVID effects. Weird, ironically,
almost dormant at that point.
Yeah,
while it's hitting you. Yeah,
and it's probably like a spike protein thing, or just his whole thing is like COVID becomes an autoimmune disease. It's not really a viral disease anymore. And that's his whole thing. That's his whole thesis is like we're treating it like it's a pneumonial viral thing, like with the ventilators and like all that shit. And it's really your body's attacking itself. So you need something that's going to clear up the autoimmune effect, which is what property of ivermectin. But anyway,
we did a congressional testimony about that shit.
Pulled off of YouTube, dude. Pulled off.
Fucking insane, dude. You can watch any congressional testimony ever of anything.
Bro, what's crazy about I love, and again, these guys, it's so funny being like that guy and Robert Malone, way smarter than us, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
speak for
but they're still indoctrinated, right? And so it's funny watching like old guys who have worked in medicine and science their whole lives being like, holy shit, maybe pharma like isn't as good as I thought it was, you know. And
they're like, I
we're
like
like
Pierre,
fucking
yeah,
and
Pierre
we're
and I
like,
got fucking hammered the other night, man. Pierre saying
dude.
this, damn, I gotta look into this. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it's just funny how like, you know, like you could be like a fucking 20-30-year-old stoner and be more woke than like some like expert
that's
guy.
correct.
But
You're
anyway,
smarter than the doctor sometimes.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
doctors are retarded. I'm gonna say
yeah.
that right now. Raise my hands up.
Yeah.
Doctors retarded.
Totally.
Nurses based a lot of times.
Yeah,
not
a lot
the
of
TikTok
times.
ones. A lot of times
Yeah.
based.
Yeah, no, nurses wrong. But yeah, so anyway, I did the 5-day course. I was on 15 milligrams with food once a day, 5 days. Man, like I'm not saying I'm 100% with this throat shit, but
you look
80%,
vibrant.
80% gone. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I know my lighting's all fucked up and shit. Yeah.
No, well, here's the thing. I bet you it's the same, but you look lighter.
Yeah. No, it's like no, it's dude. Again,
call the toll-free number on the bottom, guys, if you want a shipment of ivermectin. It's the RC ivermectin. I made it in my bathtub.
This is medical advice. Yeah.
This is.
No, I got the Ukrainian dog ivermectin, dude. It is so raw, dude.
Yeah, Ukrainian dog kush.
The photo of the bottle is literally like a dog being like forced to put a bill.
Goddamn Malmute on there, just gobbling it down.
But yeah, so anyway, I have a little anecdote. And I only did it because he said, the long COVID people can try it. So yeah, that's my shit.
Sweet. Well, that's a good one to end on, man. I think that was one of our banger fucking.
Doctors are retarded. Yeah, exactly.
Doctors are retarded.
Yeah.
Right? Doctors without retardation is what we want. Not doctors without borders.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And so shit, that was really good. I'm glad we did that. That was one we were ready to empty the clip though. That was good. We hadn't done a true COVID one since our Pfizer Justice Warriors episode. Just a quick plug. You're gonna look out for me on a few podcasts coming up soon. I've been doing features on my Method Man shit, hopping on features, and check me out there. Unfit Statesman, and another one I won't name it yet, but very fun time talking film. Tried to get a little cultured with it, and that's then look out for us. We got some other ones coming out. Music live stream. I think we've settled on Led Zeppelin this month. Yeah. That'll be we haven't decided the date on that yet, but that'll be we'll do the normie bands, and we'll do like a people like the Beatles shit, dude. People really fucking like that. So last night, fuck it, I'll say it. Ben, System of Systems. Yeah. He was like, dude, you made me rethink my Beatles take, man. Oh shit, word, yeah. He said we didn't say that Penny Lane slapped hard enough though. Like that was his thing. Okay. He was like, well, he's young, you know. Exactly. So, he's smarter than us, but he's and he's more cultured. But those are guys that like Penny Lane, if you know what I mean. But he's one of those Penny Lane guys, solo, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Fucking horn solo. Yeah. Most Paul ass song, dude. Hey, I like the guy. It's kind of a Penny Lane guy, if you know what I mean. But no, I love Ben. That's my guy. I love the guy. Yeah. No, sorry, just to go on a beat. Think of the two Beatles, like because there's like a lot of Beatles songs that are what am I saying? You know, talking about their childhood growing up. Right. You got Penny Lane and you got fucking Strawberry Fields. Right. John and Paul. Which one slaps harder? Strawberry Fields. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And the oh yeah, I forgot to mention this on the stream, but I saw this one like trajectory theory that somebody had, and I thought this was fantastic. They say the Beatles reunite 1984 at Live Aid. Oh damn. Yeah. I could totally see that happening. Yeah. And they would have stole the show. That would have fucking dude. Queen was like the king. Like Queen was the king. Queen was the queen of Live Aid. Yeah. And it was like that was like, you know, the Freddie Mercury performance. It's just incredible performance. Yeah. But like that would have been like fucking such second fiddle to like the Beatles reuniting at Live Aid. Yeah. Wasn't that the one? Was that the same Live Aid that the Led Zeppelin performed at with Phil Collins on drums and like Jimmy was yacked out of his mind? Or was that Farm Aid? Farm Aid, that might have been Farm Aid. Yeah, Farm Aid slapped. That show was sick. No, Led Zeppelin, I don't believe was at Live Aid. Live Aid was definitely more like the Tears for Fearsy kind of like bands, like which was, I mean, it was nice. Michael Jackson too. But I don't think he was there. Elton John was there. Okay. Yeah, I know it was. I
Fucking
mean,
Elton John is behind every vaccine psyop. By the way, that's swine
Yeah.
flu, dude.
well, once you find out there's a suppository, you'll know Elton John's in
He's-
yeah. In there. But the J&J suppository,
yeah.
I like the Pfizer one because you take 2. But
He likes a big needle, dude. It's fucking weird, dude. Yeah, it's most people
yeah.
are scared of him, but
Anyways,
yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
He's at Crypto Sci. I'm at Glen Rockney. To follow Glenn if you like sports, but
Yeah.
follow at RareCandy Pod 1. That's where you can find everything. Subscribe on YouTube. Gonna be some YouTube only content coming up. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Peace.